All right, welcome to Guarantee News. My name is Garrett. As usual, if you're watching this for a minute, a second, the whole video, thank you. You could be watching anything in the world and you're watching Guarantee News, and I appreciate that. Please follow my YouTube channel, GSTEWDIOS. And I have to mention it also, if you've been on my account before, I would like to just point attention to, the nice logo cleaner. It all fits in within like the little logo space. And it's making me realize as I, film more, try to be more consistent. It's important the little things are important, to just make things look clean. And I'm not the best at the little things. I just like the talking and the doing the research. So, keep watching Guarantee News. The little things will get better, like the logo, one at a time. Now, as usual, you already know this if you watch Guarantee News, but if this is your first time watching, comment where I'm right, where I'm wrong, where you think I'm right or wrong, where am I kind of right but getting off, or where am I wrong but you like that one part. I like to hear about it. I'm going to always ask you to be respectful, but I can't make you be respectful, so it is what it is. And I'm going to start doing, well, no, let me not even talk about that. Let's get to the episode. Enough yapping. Let's get to the episode. So, this is about a story that came out Friday, April 25th. Yesterday, it's Saturday, April 26th when I'm recording this. And it is a story: the FBI arrests a Milwaukee judge accused of helping a man evade immigration authorities. So that woman's name is Judge Hannah Dugan, right? Let's get a picture of her and see what she looks like. And she is being arrested for allegedly helping a man evade immigration authorities. When she knew ICE agents were there at the courthouse, she helped that man escape. And now a federal lawsuit has been filed. We're going to go through that lawsuit. And I want to just say up front, I have to say this a lot, I think. This is a developing story, and as more facts come out, my opinion may change, and when that happens, I will give the facts and change my opinion. As of now, I am going to give my opinion as of what I've read from the lawsuit that has been filed. The lawsuit is open for everybody to see, so I'm going to give my facts based off of that. Now, I will say, when this story first came out, when I read it, I saw it going across on my little news headlines, and I just immediately almost wanted to swipe off of it. I didn't, but I wanted to swipe off of it, and I was like, damn, I am left-leaning, because I was like, when I first saw this, I was like, shit, this is like the sort of thing Republicans need, at least on the marketing end, to just have like something where they can just shoot at Democrats and have their Republican fans on the ground be like, see, this is why, even though Trump's doing this, and this, we got to wait and let him because you guys are doing this, and this, and this, and that. And it gets back. It just re-infuels that fight. Because the Republicans, for around the first 100 days, they have had a lot of times where they've had to be silent because they've been effing up. All of their people have been effing up. And now this is, or everybody in the Trump administration, his whole team and him, they've been doing a lot of questionable shit. And now this just gives them the fire they need. So I will say this made me think, okay, I am left-leaning. And I say that because, maybe I have a lot of friends, right? I have friends that are more left-leaning that are like, Garrett, you like love Trump. What's wrong with you? Because I'll say certain things and I'll have certain opinions, and they're like, oh, Garrett, you're a Trump fan. Something's wrong with you. And then I have Trump fans that are friends that are, and not like MAGA, we're not going to get into that, but I have people that like Trump and are more Republican than Democrat and liked Kamala. I have friends like that are like, you're a liberal, Garrett, you're left-leaning, like it's hard to watch your shit because it's crazy, right? And I argue with both of them. I try to be like, I'm in the middle. This made me, there's some times where I realize certain things when certain stories come out and I just get a feeling, because a lot of times my first feeling is to be like, what happened? I don't really care, or how do I feel about it? But sometimes I'll see a story, and I think now with just as I'm covering the Trump administration more, it's making me more left-leaning, A, and B, when I saw this story and made me realize it, because I was like, shit, Republicans are going to love this. This is going to be on the news for at least this weekend. It happened. It was released. It didn't happen. It was released on a Friday. It's going to be the news story on CNN, Fox News, everything. We're going to get into it more Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday, and then it'll die down and we'll keep getting into more updates. But this is going to be a big story. Republicans are going to use every single ounce that they can for this. So that's what it is. Now, let's have a picture of Miss Hannah Dugan, Judge Hannah Dugan up. Okay, so the case itself, what has really happened, right? we're going to read through the court case, and then we're going to mix in a little bit of Associated Press reporting to get an idea of what's happening. I'll give you some quick spark notes, and then the actual lawsuit that I'm going to just skim through is going to just give you guys just some interesting facts and tidbits that I think make this interesting, because how it all happened, this is a serious situation for so many reasons, and I want to say that, but how it all happened and me just picturing it while reading that 13-page lawsuit, I was kind of like, this is funny. It was just interesting. I was like thinking about it like as a movie, and like, this is fried. Kind of like just wild. Like, I would have loved to be there to see it. So that's why I'm going to read the actual lawsuit, a little bit of it. Don't be like, oh, Garrett's going to read 13 pages, a little bit of it, just to skim through so you can get some of that color. But spark notes, Judge Hannah Dugan, she's accused of helping a man, a man in the country illegally, allegedly escape ICE agents in her courtroom. It happened on April 18th in a courthouse in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And April 18th would have been last Friday. So this happened a week ago. We, the public, are finding about it 7 days later in a lawsuit that was filed, right? So courtroom in Milwaukee. We're doing the when, where, why, all that type of stuff. And the man that she allegedly helped escape was there in court because, and this is something that, if true, is a big reason why I kind of am on the way that I feel about this at this moment. But the man that she tried to help escape, I guess, was there for a domestic battery case in which they're saying that he physically harmed a man and a woman, and kind of, we'll get into that. Multiple people he harmed is why he was in court, and then he was also happened to be there illegally, and that's where the ICE agents and the FBI agents, there was quite a few people there to get him. That's why they were there to get him at that time in that place, right? So those are the spark notes. Now let's get to the color, right? This was filed by a Lindsay Scholimer. I tried multiple times on Google, Lindsay Schloe, Lindsay Scholimer. I tried to multiple times find pictures of her. Every time I do, it pulls pictures up of a blonde white woman that I'm not sure if she's not the real Lindsay Scholimer. I'm sorry. Or it pulls up picture of FBI Director Kash Patel and Hannah Dugan herself. So I'm guessing maybe there's some secrecy with FBI agencies. That's probably stupid to say as I'm saying it out loud. There's some sort of secrecy, but I don't know. I couldn't find a picture of her, and I didn't try too hard. So when we do the update on this story, I'm sure I'll have one. But it's not easily Googleable, this Lindsay Scholimer. Interesting fact to me, maybe not to you. So the affidavit in support of a criminal complaint, she's the one that's writing criminal complaint. This first section is her background and experience, and basically why she is like qualified to do these interviews on the people that witnessed this happen, and why she's qualified to write this up and qualified to do this. I am a special agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and have been employed since 2014. I am an investigative or law enforcement agent of the United States authorized under Title 18, United States Code, Section 3052. That is an office of the United States who is empowered by law to conduct investigations, to make arrests, and to collect evidence for various violations of federal law. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm very important, and I am allowed to make arrests. Okay. And I based this affidavit upon personal knowledge and upon information reported to me by other federal law enforcement officers during and as part of their official duties, all of whom believed to be truthful and reliable. So basically, in case agents refers to me and other FBI special agents who have direct... Okay. That's basically saying I am getting all this information that you're about to read from a lot of interviews that I did. And these interviews that I did for people are FBI agents, they're attorneys, they're people that were just in the courtroom watching it all happen. They didn't know what's going on, but they're just watching it happen. And she's coming, getting all these interviews, putting all the pieces together. And she's saying these people ought to be trusted. And I'm about to put the pieces for you together in these next 12, 11 pages. It's actually pretty interesting to read. And, it's actually pretty interesting to see how she describes all the different people watching this who don't know what's going on. She knows what's going on. The FBI agents kind of get to know what's going on. And then she puts it all together to say this is what happened and kind of what you think. It's an interesting to think about. So part 2, purpose of affidavit. This is why I'm writing it. She's saying this is what's going on. I'm doing a criminal complaint charging Hannah C. Dugan with obstructing or impeding or proceeding before a department or agency, states as described above, on or about April 17th. So this happened on April 17th. We said April 18th was last Friday, right? Last Friday? Yep. So this happened last Thursday. Okay, so an authorized immigration official found probable cause to believe Flores Ruiz. It's hard to do the little highlighting that I do on this. So we're just follow the cursor. Yeah, follow the cursor. Was removable from the United States and issued a warrant for his arrest. The warrant provided, you are commanded. Okay. I don't think this is important. The hearing was set to take place in courtroom 615. This is important. In front of Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan, based on the above information. It says Flores was given an arrest, or he was given notice of his arrest warrant, and I'm aware to prior arrest in public is. I'm trying to get. Okay, yeah. So that's just her saying why I'm even writing this, right? And it's basically I'm writing this because, well, we already know the judge helped this guy escape, right? And they're saying just a little information to say she knew he was there, she knew what she was doing. All right, they're just getting your feet wet. Now, the probable cause. This is interesting. Why they are even trying to deport Eduardo Flores Ruiz. And the probable cause is important because one of the main things with the Trump administration, with the cases of so many different people, with like college students, other people who I'll talk about kind of later in the video, why are you choosing these people to deport? So from this one, she's saying right out the gate why we're trying to deport this guy. So he was charged in Milwaukee, and his name is Eduardo Flores Ruiz, was charged in Milwaukee County Circuit Court with 3 counts of battery, domestic abuse, infliction of physical pain or injury. Agents from the United States Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Removal Operations, a lot of letters, identified Flores Ruiz as an individual who is not lawfully in the United States. This is important. He was not lawfully in the United States. A review of Flores Ruiz's alien registration file, A file, indicated that Flores Ruiz is a native and citizen of Mexico, and that Flores Ruiz has been issued by United States Border Control on January 26, 2013, a notice and order of expedited removal on January 16th of 2013. He had been issued a notice to remove on January 16th of 2013, and that Flores Ruiz was thereafter removed to Mexico through the Nogales, Arizona port of entry. So they're saying, So they're saying he was issued something in 2013 to leave, and we know that we deported him through the Nogales, Arizona port of entry. 2013 sent it to him, and they know they deported him, and this is through, I guess, their paperwork that they have, right? Keep in mind, I'm going off of everything that we're seeing on this and basing that it's true, and that the fact that they wrote all this. So I would assume with this administration, they never like to give proof of anything. They just say, listen to it. So the fact that they're giving us so much proof is making me believe that they have it. Okay. There's no evidence in the A file or DHS indices indicating that Flores Ruiz saw or obtained permission to return to the United States. They're basically saying he snuck back in. Okay. So that's basically why they're arresting him. We should read the last sentence because that's always interesting. Made of course officials was focusing its resources on apprehending. Okay, this is important. Okay. So let's get to where we are now. The purpose of affidavit. So he was in the courthouse for criminal abuse when he was back in America. But in 2013, he was in America legally. 2013, they said that you would have to leave America. He left America. He was deported in Arizona through a port of entry. And now he's back. And when he came back, he caused a crime of domestic battery. And that is why we are here in this courthouse today trying to arrest him, because we think he snuck back in the country and he's causing crimes. These are the 2 check marks that all the Trump fans want to hear with something like this, right? And another thing that is interesting, both incidents involved individuals who had been charged with criminal offenses but who were not in custody and appearing for scheduled hearings in their criminal cases. I also am aware that pursuant to its policies, which have been known to courthouse officials, this is important, The Milwaukee ICE ERO task force was focusing its resources on apprehending charged defendants making appearance in criminal cases and not arresting victims, witnesses, or individuals appearing for matters in family court. We're not arresting families, victims of crimes, witnesses in crimes, people doing the right thing. We're not arresting them. We're not here for them. We're not focusing on them. That's what they say. Do you believe that? Kind of not, because clearly they're clearly doing that. They're clearly in different cases arresting victims, witnesses, anyone they can find. But here, in this situation, they're saying, and the judge, and we'll get to this more. I'm just setting up the color. The color is important with this when I get to why I feel the way I feel. And I'm putting a Lego in my hand, an extra Lego. If you're like, why is he like this? It's just helping me. I don't know. But these are criminal cases that we're here for. We're not arresting people that are you Democrats. This is how they feel and the feeling I'm getting reading this. We're not arresting innocents like all you Democrats are complaining about, right? So that's what that section is. We just went through the background of why they're doing it, right? And of who this guy is. So this is the arrival of arrest teams at the Milwaukee County Courthouse and notification of intended arrest. They got there at approximately 8 a.m. We're gonna skim through this. I'm gonna basically just color it out for you, right? Basically, it's like 6 people there, right? 6 members. It was ICE agents, these ERO agents, FBI special agents, A and B. They didn't name them, which isn't bad to me. The DEA was there. It was a lot of people there, and they probably knew that they had to have a lot of people to get this off because they probably had an idea of what happened, what's gonna happen, right? So they get there at 8 a.m. And if you've ever been to like a courthouse, a government building, you walk in there, you have the metal detectors, you put your stuff in the box, kind of like going on airport, and they have security there. You're going through, put everything in. It's kind of like serious, right? What are you here for? Blah, 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 because they're going to help you, direct you. You got a guy sitting on a computer. Maybe he'll direct you to where you want to go, or you have an idea, or you just walk right past him. It sounds like all these 6 guys walked in as agents, and they said immediately, we are here, and the agents were dressed in plain clothes and intended to effectuate the arrest in a low-key and safe manner as possible. That's important to know, right? So they got there. The security guard stated that she needed to speak with the supervisor, sergeant. So basically, as soon as they get there, they're like, what are we here for? What are you guys here for? We're here to arrest someone that is a criminal that is going to be having their court case looked over. They have to appear in court. We know they're going to be here, and we're here to arrest them. And from the minute that they get there, the security guys are like, okay, do it quietly, right? Don't make a big deal out of it, and do it after the judge finishes all her cases for the day, including that guy's, and he's on his way out. Don't go in the court, interrupt it, scare everybody. Go arrest this guy and make a big show out of it. And they're like, yeah, cool. We're not going to do that. We'll wait outside in the hallway. This is another important thing, and this is me coloring. They're like, we're waiting outside in the hallway, right? The courtroom isn't a public space, but the hallway is a public space. And the security guard's like, yeah, public space, come and talk to some security, or come and talk to some supervisors, let them just blah, 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 let them get into them, and you'll be good. And they're like, okay, we'll talk to him. We're good. We're not going to do anything, right? Sergeant asked, and we'll keep going. The case manager interviewed the court. She's interviewed people. The courtroom told case agents that after an ICE arrest in the courthouse earlier this month, a shift sergeant had asked bailiffs to alert a supervisor at Milwaukee. So basically, we got to let everybody know they're going through. As soon as they walk in, there's supervisors they got to talk to. There's things that got to be explained, right? And they walk in at 8 a.m. Now, arrest team members reported that while waiting outside, so they get to the courtroom. The courtroom FBI agents advised that they were working with ICE, or were planning to arrest Flores-Ruiz. The courtroom deputy asked that the agents wait outside and arrest Flores. After the hearing, the agents agreed and left the courtroom. And so they got there early. They got there at 8:15 before even anybody was there. They went in the courtroom, talked to the courtroom deputy. Courtroom deputy saying the same thing. That's something multiple times she's saying that multiple people said the same thing to them. Hey, wait outside. Don't do this while it's happening. Wait. And they said multiple times, got you, we'll wait outside, we won't make a big deal. They were dressed in plain clothes. I think she's saying that to say when you were walking around, you wouldn't have noticed them unless you knew that they were there, which I could say is important because it leads to their facts of saying we weren't trying to cause problems, we were trying to get a criminal and an illegal here out of the country. That's what she's saying. They're sitting there chilling in normal clothes, maybe suits or something that you would wear if you were there, not with like ICE things on and guns drawn, or not drawn, but guns out on their hip easily to see. and accordingly, the courtroom deputy notified a shift sergeant. So as soon as they get there, I'm seeming like on every step, there's a lot of the people that work at the courthouse buzzing around. There's ICE agents in the building. There's ICE agents in the courtroom deputy. Tell the shift sergeant. Tell eventually the judge herself. Tell the attorney. Not tell the attorneys there for the judges, like attorneys working for the state of Milwaukee, I'm presuming. Like, tell everybody. Boom, boom, boom. Like, it's like a schoolgirl in a high school when one thing happened, or not even a schoolgirl, everybody in a high school, boys and girls. That was just slipped out of my mind because we know men damn near gossip more than girls, but that's another story. But it's like one person finds out everything, and now I'm getting the feeling that in 10 minutes, everybody knew that ICE was in the building. They got in at 8 o'clock. At 8:15, they were in the courtroom, right? Before everybody else. And let's see, yeah. They explained that at approximately 8:15, they were advised in the courtroom, and they were in the courtroom early. So, now, team members, and they were waiting. They were there early. Team members then observed Flores Ruiz arrive on the 6th floor of the courthouse at approximately 8:43. He was greeted by his attorney, and they entered courtroom 615, which is Hannah Dugan's courtroom. Now, Judge Dugan learns of ICE presence and confronts members of his arrest team. This is one of the most interesting parts of the story, or really from here, it's all interesting. So basically, right, the whispering I was talking about, the whispering gets into the courtroom. So it's 8:45, right? They've started. The people that are there in the courtroom for that day, there's multiple people there to get their case halved. One of those people is Flores Ruiz, and the FBI, all those guys are waiting at different points outside the courtroom, right? And everybody knows they're there except for the people there for their cases. And the attorney A, they call her in the lawsuit, basically is like sitting by the judge. I'm like thinking like Law and Order, like there's like the security for the judge, there's the attorney for the judge. The attorney like knows and basically like talks to security talks to the judge, and they're like, hey, ICE is in the building right now, and they're right outside. There's like 6 FBI agents. I was like, that's how I'm picturing it. It's like, and she's like, wait, everybody. And everybody's waiting in the courtroom. Like, what's going on? What's this whisper? Probably everyone's scared. If it was me, they're coming for me. I'm doing something wrong. Would be me. I bet everybody in the room was thinking that was there for that case. Hey, we got 6 ICE agents that are here. They're trying to arrest somebody. I think it's one of the people. It's Flores Ruiz. And she, I guess, goes out and gets shitty. So let's read it. And this is another interesting. I want to get this as well. They were taking pictures. There was somebody that came out and took pictures of them. Like, this is they're building up a thing to say these people knew they were there and they made a plan and they gossiped and made a strategy to get them out. This is why they're doing all this. I guess somebody also, I think the same attorney went out and took pictures of all the FBI agents. And this is important to know. This is being stated in this so far. I'm giving you Spark Notes, but I want to read certain parts. So I keep mentioning that for a reason. So an attorney A went out and took pictures of them, but there was like a FBI agent B that was off to the side that I guess nobody knew was there with them. They had the initial people come out and get the information, but they kept some people to the side. They were planning. And it's an interesting plan, and it's interesting to read. So I want to get the individual. So the courtroom deputy observed Attorney A, the individual who had photographed the agents, enter and approach Judge Dugan's clerk. Attorney A stated that there appeared to be ICE agents in the hallway. Attorney A told the clerk that there were agents were seated with what they were wearing. So basically, I missed a part. That must have probably been in when they first got there, that somebody came and took pictures of them. But someone came and took pictures of them, and it was Attorney A, is who it ended up being. And remember, from this lady, this FBI agent that wrote all this, interviewing so many people, she's able to hear things and put this all together. So the FBI agents would be like, somebody recorded us. And then somebody else would say, the agent, or somebody in the courtroom would then say, okay, she went in and showed them pictures, and she's like, okay, that's the guy. She has these pictures because, you know what I'm saying? That's how she's putting it together, which to me is interesting, but I'll keep moving on. So yeah, the courtroom deputy, this is in the courtroom, observed her go to Judge Dugan's desk. Attorney A stated that there appeared to be ICE agents in the hallway, told them where they were seated and what they were wearing. The courtroom deputy reported that the clerk then got up. Remember, there's people in court getting their cases happen. She got up, clerk got up and talked with Judge Dugan. Judge Dugan became visibly angry, commented that the situation was absurd, left the bench, and entered chambers. At that time, Flores Ruiz was seated in the gallery of the courtroom. Another individual, Attorney B, was working as an assistant district and judge in the courtroom. According to Attorney B, there were approximately 8 criminal cases, including Flores Reed's case, scheduled for pre-trial hearings that morning. Attorney B was aware that the victims from Flores Reed's criminal case were in the court. They were in the courtroom. The victims of the domestic battery were there to see this happen. While Attorney B was busy preparing for that morning's docket, Attorney B heard someone announce ISIS here. Shortly after, so they're gossiping. Attorney B heard Judge Dugan say that she was going to call the chief judge before leaving the courtroom. Okay. So let's see. Both wearing judicial robes. Okay, and approach members. So 2 judges, Judge Dugan and the judge that I guess has his courtroom next to her, approach members of the arrest team in the public hallway. Judge A's courtroom is located just at yep. Witnesses that she was visibly upset and had a confrontational, angry demeanor. Judge Dugan addressed Deportation Officer 1 and asked if he was present for a court appearance. He said no. Judge Dugan stated that Deportation Officer A would need to leave the courthouse. He said Deportation Officer A was there to make an arrest. I'm not saying that weird-ass E word. She said that, do you have a judicial warrant? He said, no, I have an administrative warrant. She said that he would need a judicial warrant. He said that this was a public space and had a valid immigration warrant. Judge Dugan asked to see the administrative warrant and deportation officer offered to show it to her. She then demanded that deportation officer speak with the chief judge. Judge Dugan then had a similar interaction with FBI agent B and CBP officer A. After finding out that they were not present for a court appearance and that they were with ICE, Judge Dugan ordered them to report to the chief judge office. It's okay. Okay, so they're saying she's angry. She's walking out in her judge robes. Everybody's in the hallway, a public space, seeing this. Again, if you've ever been in these places, I can't imagine being there for something else and seeing this happen out loud. But she's like, what are you here for? You here for a court appearance? She's like, no, leave. I don't want to leave. I'm here. I have a warrant for an arrest. I'm a part of FBI. She's like, are you here for, do you have a judicial? I'm a judge. Do you have it? This gets into that conversation of Trump and going against judges. This is terrible for Democrats, marketing wise, but this could also be terrible for just Trump and what he's going to do and the reasons and what could come out of this case and another case. But she's like, do you have a judicial warrant? No, I have an administrative warrant. Administrative Trump. Like this is what he said. No, fuck your judicial warrant. I have an administrative warrant. She's like, you need a judicial warrant. You're in my courthouse. You're in a judicial place. Then she tells him, you know what? F it. You got to go talk to basically the chief judge office. So basically, you got to go talk to the manager. Go talk to my manager about this shit. You're not going to go talk to the manager. So she's telling them, you're here, go somewhere else and talk to somebody else and do what you're doing. Leave where you're at right now and go talk to somebody else, right? And then after that, we're gonna skim through it again. She basically goes into this secret, this area that is not available to the public, that is like in a hallway, that is a lock, opens the door, unlocks it, goes in, and I guess it leads to her chambers plus the courtroom. So she's going through like a secret, what they're making it seem like a secret hallway to go to the chambers. Go to her chambers and to her courtroom. That's what she does next after she tells them to shoo away to somebody else. Keep in mind, while this is all happening, there's like a FBI, I think it's FBI agent B, that is off to the side. The judge doesn't know about, nobody knows about. He's off to the side seeing all this happen and keeping it low key, right? That's important. Nobody knows he's there. So she's telling everybody that she knows is there. They're going through, you got to leave. You got to go talk to the justice, the chief judge, basically the manager, right? Okay. So escorted members of the arrest team away from it. Yep. A portion of the above described events in the hallway. Courtroom deputy, according to that person, she was advised of ICE presence. The courtroom deputy left the courtroom to look at the unrelated defendant. Okay. She was angry, walking quickly. Judge Dugan walks south down the hallway and enter a locked door. I'm familiar. She's saying it. I'm familiar with the floor plan of the 6th floor of the courthouse. I bet she is. And believe the door Judge Dugan entered led to a non-public hallway from which she could access her courtroom chambers. This is a 28-minute episode. I realize this, but I think you guys, this is interesting. This is interesting. So she walked through a locked hallway. DE Agent B, who had remained in the hallway and who had not been recognized as a member of the arrest team, reported that Judge Dugan walked around the hallway and appeared to be looking for additional agents before she went to her courtroom. That leads more to the thinking of she's searching for them, because why are you searching for them? My initial thought and the thought they're trying to paint, so maybe they're leading me there. And as this goes on, I can feel different. But my initial thought is because you want to make sure the coast is clear. Once inside the office of the Chief Judge His credentials. Yeah, once inside the office of the chief. So they're talking to the chief judge. This is like scene change. The people that got told to go F off, so the hallway could be clear, are talking to the chief judge, and they're basically, it's just mumbo jumbo. It's not mumbo jumbo, but it's just, yeah. Okay. Now, while deportation officer was speaking with the chief judge, DE agent A, there's a lot of people here. A, B, C, waited in the vestibule area outside the chief's, okay, blah, 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 blah. Departed there. Judge Dugan's courtroom deputy then approached the remaining arrest team members and said the courtroom deputy was not the one who had notified it about the arrest plan. The courtroom deputy also made a comment about Judge Dugan pushing Floyd Rui's case through, which the arrest team interpreted to mean that Judge Dugan was attempting to expedite Floyd's hearing. So, with this, it seems like there was somebody that doesn't want any smoke with the Trump administration. The courtroom deputy. Said, the courtroom approached the remaining arrest team members and stated the courtroom deputy was not the one who had notified Judge Dugan about the arrest plans. So it sounds like the courtroom deputy saw this happening, knows what's going on with the Trump administration, knows what the Trump administration does when someone doesn't like them, and said, I'm not going to be a problem with this, went up to the arresting ICE agents and said, I know what's about to come with this. There's going to be a lot of interviews. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be talking, and I just want you guys to know immediately, I was not the one that notified Judge Dugan about their arrest plan. It was not me, you guys. I don't know who it was. You guys are going to find out who it was, and if I find out who it was, I'll tell you guys. But just know, today and tomorrow and for next week when this comes out, it wasn't me that did this. And he also made the comment that Judge Dugan seemed to be pushing Flores through. It looked like she was pushing the case through, which we're interpreted, the arrest team interpreted to mean she was attempting to expedite Flores' hearing. So it's like she got back in there, went to the secret door, got back in there and said, come on, go. You come up first. Let's get you done. Let's get to this. Yeah, you're here for this. You did this domestic violence. Okay. Cool. That's the picture I'm seeing in her head. She got back in there and started getting to the work of her plan, right? Interesting to me. And my head is picturing all this and it's like, shit. It was probably amazing to see this happen, right? So Judge Dugan escorts Flores Ruiz through a jury door to avoid his arrest. Okay, D. This is the next part. She escorts Flores Ruiz through a jury door to avoid his arrest. So when she got back in there, at first they said he was in the gallery. When she got back in there, she put him in this different, I'm sorry this is taking so long. I got to go through this case so you guys can get a better, reading just the Associated Press article does not put the good enough picture of exactly what in and how many steps I believe she went through to do this, and who this guy Flores Ruiz was, and just the context behind this and the color. From what I know now, I had to go through with you guys on the show before I give my opinion, because the facts are there. I want to give them so you guys are able to know my opinion and make your own. Where am I right? Where am I wrong? That's why I like the comments, right? So this is where it gets even funkier, even more interesting, even more fun for me to picture. Judge Dugan escorts Flores Ruiz through a jury door to avoid his arrest. So she gets back in there. He was in the gallery. Flores Ruiz was in the gallery beforehand. And I'm just, like I've been doing with everything, summarizing a little bit how it went, then reading key points. She got back in there, moved him out of the gallery to the jury box. Everybody in the courtroom was like, well, now we know something's going on. And I would be calm if I was in the jury box, if I was in the gallery and I was there for one of those 8 cases, because I'd be like, well, it's him they want. That's like, because you're walking in here and the judge is saying, yeah, you move to the jury box. What is the jury box for? And this says this in this piece that it's for like only people, like very specific people are only supposed to sit there, basically for very specific reasons. And he was not fulfilling any of those specific reasons. So everybody in the courtroom knew something was going on. And this just goes through all the different views of every single person down to people that were there for the victims of Flores Ruiz and their specific their recalling of what happened, right? So multiple witnesses have described their observations after Judge Dugan returned to her courtroom after directing members of the arrest team to the judge's office, right? And this goes, for example, Attorney B, judge was forcibly motioned for Flores Ruiz and a male she did not know, had never met Flores Ruiz to approach. So his attorney, a woman, Flores Ruiz's attorney appeared to be confused by the judge's gesture, but complied with her directive. Judge Dugan commanded Flores Ruiz's attorney and the male to leave through a back door of the courtroom. Attorney B then saw Judge Dugan escort Flores-Ruiz's attorney and the mail through a non-public door near the courtroom's jury box. Shortly thereafter, Judge Dugan came back to the courtroom and conducted hearings on that morning's docket. Later that morning, Attorney B realized that Flores-Ruiz's case had never been called and asked the court about it. Attorney B learned that Flores-Ruiz's case had been adjourned. This happened without Attorney B's knowledge or participation, even though Attorney B was present in court to handle Flores-Ruiz's case on behalf of the state. And even though victims were present in the courtroom, this gives me the idea that the people, Attorney B, all these chief deputy, they were in those interviews giving it up. This is what happened. This is what I saw. I was so confused, like you guys were confused. Oh, her turn. I didn't know what was happening, but I thought it was weird. Attorney B then saw Judge Dugan as for attorney in boo. Shortly thereafter, Judge Dugan came back to the courtroom and conducted hearings on that meeting's docket. Later that morning, Attorney B realized that Flores' case had never been called and asked the court about what's going on. What's going on? They gave it up in those interviews, and that was clear to me from reading this. They didn't hold anything back, and nobody was on Hannah Dugan's side. It seems like in that court, that's what I'm seeing. It seemed like at the beginning, everybody was like, they're here. And then when this happened the way it happened, everybody was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I could be wrong about that. That's just the way I took it when I've read it all the way through the first time. I've skimmed through it a couple times. I'm skimming through it again. That's just the idea I'm getting. And this is interesting. A victim witness specialist employed by the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office was present there. The VWS made contact with the victims in Flores-Ruiz's criminal case who were also in court. The VWS was able to identify Flores-Ruiz based upon the victim's reactions to his presence in court. So they're basically saying you see someone that hurt you, you're going to be like, when that name is called, and when you see that person, it's going to be visibly clear. The VWS observed Judge Dugan gesture towards Flores-Ruiz and an unknown Hispanic woman, the attorney, his attorney, Flores-Ruiz's attorney. The VWS stated she believed the Hispanic woman may have been an interpreter. However, based on the VWS's description of the woman and other witness statements, I believe the Hispanic woman to which the VWS referred to was Flores-Ruiz's attorney. She's putting all these things together. It's something that's interesting to me. It's giving me like a detective a little bit, which is why it's kind of cool. And I said it's giving me. Okay. Keep going. I believe that the Hispanic woman to which the The VWS stated that Judge Dugan then exited through jury door with Flores-Ruiz and Hispanic women. The VWS was concerned because Flores-Ruiz's case had not been called and victims were waiting. Another attorney, Attorney C, who was in courtroom 615 on April 25th, to represent a client, also advised case agents that he observed Judge Dugan firstly direct two individuals, a man and a woman, to leave through jury door. So she's like, come on, go, get, forcibly, come, go. She keeps using that word forcibly. Attorney C indicated that this was done with a stern tone. They keep using that word stern too. Now we're to E. Ruiz makes it out of the courthouse and arrested after a foot chase. We're not going to read anything from this because this was so insane that I can break it down exactly how it happened. It's 36 minutes. It's probably going to take me 3 minutes, and then we'll move on to my opinion because you guys got the color. Okay. The only person left in the hallway is the FBI agent B, who no one knew was there. Everybody else is tied up talking to the chief deputy judge about God knows what. And they're probably okay with this because they know they have their guy and they trust that guy back looking in the hallway. The judge, or no. Then Flores-Ruiz and his attorney get outside of this is literally like a movie. Flores-Ruiz and his attorney get in the hallway outside. They look around, then they go to elevator 3. And they mention this in here. Elevator 3 is further than elevator 1. So they skipped elevator 1. That would have been closer for them to walk to go all the way to elevator 3. The guy, the FBI agent B, I shouldn't be smiling because it's just, picture this is crazy. The FBI agent sees them come out of this secret door. And is it the same secret door? Let me see. After relieving Chief Justice Fresno return to the public. So they don't say, but I'm like thinking, did the judge or did the attorney and Flores-Ruiz enter into the hallway through the same place that the judge went into, that secret locked area? They don't mention, but they enter back in the hallway. He sees them enter, FBI agent B sees them enter out in the hallway and go to the thing. He gets up, normal. Remember, he's in normal clothes, gets in the elevator with him. In the elevator, and while he's in the elevator, he's basically telling everybody, hey, I'm in the elevator with him. They're here. They're coming outside. Like, this is going, go, 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 go. So I'm assuming the FBI, all the people that were in there with the chief deputy judge, God knows on what floor where, were like, some of them maybe stayed. I'm thinking like, okay, we're leaving. A panic, like a little bit of a panic. Oh, yeah. You're talking about this. Let's get up and go is how I'm picturing it, right? So they're getting up and going. FBI agent B is in the elevator with them. He says they're in the elevator speaking Spanish. He doesn't understand it, right? Because it's an ICE agent immigrating Spanish-speaking individuals. Why would he speak Spanish? That was sarcasm. Maybe he should speak Spanish. Maybe he shouldn't. I don't know. But he's in there. They're speaking Spanish. He doesn't understand it. They get outside, right? And basically when they get outside, they approach him and say, we're ICE agents. And he turns around and just dips. Takes off. In public. Outside the courthouse, just full sprint. They of course catch him and arrest him. And at approximately 8:50, at 8:50 he alerted them that they're on the elevator with him. He got outside. They caught him. At around 9:05, approximately 22 minutes after arresting first spotted Flores on the 6th floor of the courthouse, FBI agent communicated to the surveillance team that Flores had been arrested. At 9:05, they got him. When I read all this all happened. They got there at 8:05 early. They first saw him at 8:05, and at 9:05 there was a high speed or a medium speed foot chase. This all happened in an hour. And this isn't funny because a man got deported and we don't know all the facts, and this judge did something that is questionable, but just picturing everything what that is. Like the director, writer, movie lover in me is like, that is... what the hell? This is like the way that you could paint this on the Republican side. If you had a brain, you could some content for 2 weeks. Like that's why this is all so crazy to me. And okay, this is why like they gave them so much content for a week. That's why this is crazy. We're at 40 minutes, right? So we're gonna get to my opinion. Okay, and let's go back. I want to read a little bit of this article. So this is what Flores Ruiz did. This is the part where so this gives you an idea of what he did. So he's 30 years old, went to Dugan's court for a hearing after being charged with 3 counts of a misdemeanor domestic battery. Confronted by a roommate for playing loud music on March 12th, Flores Ruiz allegedly fought him in the kitchen. So a roommate said, you're playing loud music. He fought him in the kitchen and struck a woman who tried to break them up, according to the police affidavit in the case. Another woman who tried to break up the fight and called police allegedly got elbowed in the arm by Flores Ruiz. He faces up to 9 months in prison and a $10,000 fine. So this is what he did. A roommate told him to turn the music down. He punched the roommate in the face, fought him. A girl tried to break it up. He, and struck a woman who tried to break him up. And this is all allegedly. This is what they're saying he was in court for. And this is just to paint the picture of, again, getting back to why he is not the one that she should have gone through this with, right? And let me go back to the picture of Hannah Dugan, of Judge Hannah Dugan, right? He is not the one that you would go through this for, right? And I'm critical of this, and I don't like this because I get the frustration with the Trump administration, and I get having to stand up for something that you believe is wrong and what you believe in, and how you have to stand up with this sometimes without words, but sometimes with pure action. And I get with everything that Trump is doing, with how he's going about immigration. Like I saw somebody on CNN, that's where I saw it, and he was basically like, a lot of people voted for Trump's immigration to fix the border, not for these things that he's doing, going against college students with visas and people that just seem to be critical over certain things that he's like saying you can't even mention. Like, that we didn't think you were going to do this. We thought you were going to fix the border. And I get that frustration, right? But the way that she did this, Hannah Dugan went about this, just seems childish, immature, and with a lack of planning and realization of the moment that she's in. And the thing that makes this so scary, or not even scary, just interesting, again, to me, is just like, this is a judge. I can't help but think like you would want a judge to be more cool-headed and realize what's going on, that you're frustrated, but where's this guy going to go? It's not like she brought up security. It's not like she cared that much to bring up security to escort this guy out. She helped him get out, and this was like, once he got out of the courtroom, like, good luck, get out. You didn't even help him get out. Where did you think he was going to go? Like, how is he going to get away? How did you think this was going to play out? What did you think was going to happen? And why are you doing it for a guy that is in your courtroom on a domestic battery thing? And I get that she's a judge, so she's probably thinking innocent to proven guilty. But at the same time, like, this is not, like, I got a sneeze coming. I said last episode, it's gotten hot in Indy. My allergies are killing me. I've had the Holy Trinity, so don't be childish about the sniffles. There was one of them. Don't be childish. All right, where is I? Oh, yeah. I get the innocent until proven guilty, and she's probably thinking that. And I get the she being very frustrated with the administration. But if she has a college student in there on a visa that's there in court as like a witness or like a family, this becomes different. I'm in here covering this different. I bet that lawsuit that we just spent 50% of this episode, but it was interesting to me, 50% of this episode reading, I bet that looks different. She chose a terrible person and a terrible way of completing it to get this done. And it frustrates me even more because, like I said earlier, is now the Trump administration is going to use this to say, look at these Democrats that are trying to help criminals and illegal aliens and illegal immigrants get and stay in our country as opposed to making the country better. And this is our problem. And this is why we say the things they say. And this is going to be a Democratic framing, and it's going to give Trump's fans just a reason, again, like I said in the beginning, to just be like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you guys are just liberals that are trying to mess the country up, and this is why we want Trump, because he's not letting, it just gives them more fuel. And when you're in this political space that we're in with back and forth, it's just like, and when the Democrats are how they are right now, you can't make these little stupid mistakes, but it just makes me ask the question of, like, how do Democrats going against the Trump administration, like, fight against them? What is the best way? Like, there's so many things, there's so many questions that I have, and I ask that all the time. Like, I've said on the show before, like, with the political marketing, they shouldn't go the Trump way of just throwing insults and being mean and disrespectful and making these crazy jokes. But to an extent, they have to have a way to do that, to joke, to, like, and this is me going off marketing. But then with also doing things in law, the Trump administration bypasses the law 24/7. And it seems like this lady bypassed the law here. So there's an easy opinion to just be of the mind that you're like, damn, the sneeze won't come out. But there's an easy way to be of the opinion of, like, this lady is bypassing the law to help a man that is getting, for people that are like him, are getting targeted from an administration bypassing the law. But if you're gonna do it, and this is my critique with the Trump administration all the time, is there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And the Trump way always seems to do everything the wrong way, and this lady did something the wrong way in a stupid way that's going to help the Trump administration more than help the idea of what she's fighting for and even the man that she was trying to help. So that's why I just think it was a stupid idea. She did the wrong idea. And if you're going to go and do and be sneaky, there's a right way to be sneaky. There's a right way to talk about people and be kind of unprofessional. Like, that's the thing the Democrats always F up. They always F up trying to play Trump's battle. And if you're going to play Trump's battle, do it in a way that makes sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like, the way she chose this guy. Now, here's my point. I just want to make a couple videos of my point on Twitter and on Truth Social, on everything. Trump fans immediately went to this. So the FBI is the guy that directed it. The FBI is the one that's credited with arresting her and doing all this. FBI Director Kash Patel on Twitter. This was yesterday at noon. The FBI arrested Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We believe she intentionally misdirected. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. They increased danger to the public, right? She's affecting the public with this. That's A. That's one thing they're gonna. That's one spin. Now here's the Attorney General Pam Bondi, and keep in mind these are all of Trump's people that, if you've watched the show, you've seen me talk about these people multiple times, and they have messed up multiple times. They've done stupid shit. They've lied. They need this, and they're gonna use it. This is her on Fox News. I think yesterday it would have had to be. And this is the Attorney General Pam Bondi talking about this on Fox News.
And to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery.
Now I had to. This is completely off topic, but when I first watched this, I was like, she sounds like the mom from White Lotus. I was like, where is she from? She's from Florida, Tampa, Florida. Someone tell me. I guess that is like. Is this? Do they? North Carolina. She sounds like she's the girl from the woman from the mom from White Lotus. Am I tweaking? Am I getting the accents wrong? Like just the way she finishes her words, like tsunami.
Terrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for.
And no disrespect to her. I'm not trying to make fun of someone for how they talk. That shot. I like it. I think it's kind of interesting. You know, I like it. Let me put that in clear too. It's not. I'm not saying I dislike it. I just think it's interesting. It's an interesting draw.
Domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl. Hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him.
Look at the guy that they're saving. The document that the FBI lady said that he was there, and the Associated Press article said allegedly he punched. Like it's. You can explain something a million different ways, and you can use context the way you want to use it, and you can paint a picture with a situation a million different ways, and you get to the truth the way you do. But I'm just off of reading the thing that we read the lawsuit, that little Associated Press, I gave a little more that it was violent, and then going off of what she's saying, hit him 30 times, this violent guy. Look how they're painting it, and look how they're gonna paint it. And most people are gonna watch Fox News, so, or most people that are Trump fans are gonna watch Fox News or whatever, and this is how they're gonna take it. Just keep all that in mind.
A guy and a girl hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know.
Beat up a woman. I like that accent. I like that.
It's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes. Victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to.
She screams at the immigration office, visibly upset. We read it. They said she was visibly angry. They didn't say she was screaming. They said stern voice. You can look at a situation and you can paint it a million ways if you're creative enough. And if you're not creative enough, if you have the money to pay people creative enough, they'll paint it for you. And all you got to do is say it. Whichever one she did, they're giving the Democrats and Judge Hannah Dugan, and I won't even say the Democrats, Judge Hannah Dugan gave them a wide open layup, and they are they're full sprint down the lane in the rim. They're putting Hannah Dugan in the rim.
The chief judge, she comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the
she knows how to talk
defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Paying pictures. And it's their fault. Paying pictures. This is another one. We'll get to this one. We'll talk about this. This is another one, that another judge that is arrested. Another headline. I guess this judge was a member of a gang, they're saying. A judge let a member of a gang in his house to stay and was helping protect him from getting. So another story happened. They all came at the same time. She's talking about this one and this one in this video. We'll talk about that later. But painting pictures. And, you know, there were protests of people saying that she shouldn't have been arrested, and the people that are protesting, I'm going to show a YouTube video.
So they
are basically of the mindset that this is a woman that is taking an immoral administration, doing immoral things, and breaking the law, and fighting it by basically doing the same thing, by standing up for people that are being unrightfully deported. And this is, again, where the protest, I don't agree with this take, because the person that she did it for and the way that she did it. This is not the woman to die on a shield for due protest for. There's people that I've covered on Guaranteed News and Stories that I think you should protest for. But this guy, if these facts are the way that they are and she did this the way that it seems that she did this is not someone to be cheering for. This is not the hill to die on. But let's watch this.
With that, I think one of the challenges that ICE is up against is a variety of these local municipalities, cities across the country that don't cooperate with them. The easiest way to apprehend these individuals wanted by the federal government is to do it while they're in custody.
And Dugan's arrest sent shockwaves throughout the city, sparking protests, even reaction from Milwaukee's mayor.
And Brett Lemoyne has that part of the story and what was said on the steps of the federal courthouse.
Yeah, Ben and Kim, those protesters have now gone, but just a few hours ago, hundreds of them were lined up outside the federal courthouse with signs and a message. They are calling on the federal government to drop its charges against Judge Dugan. Many are calling it an attack on due process. At City Hall earlier today, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson called Dugan's arrest, quote, showboating. Johnson didn't comment on what Dugan did or didn't do leading up to her arrest, but he did say the situation creates fear among the undocumented.
All of that is true. Hey, and this is the mayor of Milwaukee. It is true that this is showboating, and it is true that this creates fear against ICE agents, but it's also true that he didn't comment on what she did or did do. And kind of with like what this means going forward is the Democrats, like, strategically, as far as like people like the mayor, if he's a Democratic mayor, or people like that are left leaning and have big shows or talk all the time, you gotta just you can't accept this and say this is good. You can't try to give a reason why she should have done this. What you can try to do is to highlight the reason of it and are the other stories of where Trump is repeatedly effing up and fighting the judiciary system and scaring people and making people have questions on what the world and what democracy is going to look like. And these are very real questions and very real things. I look at this stuff all the time. There are cases where Trump is deporting people for reasons that are scary, that should not be allowed. Haven't talked about the Harvard story yet, but that's a great reason. Harvard is doing a fight that is amazing on the shit that Trump is trying to do. But this is not, and Democrats trying to speak up for it is not right. You should not do it. And it gives them, it's what Republicans want you to do. They're going to dunk on you. You have to admit she was wrong strategically. Even if you agree with what she did and you don't care about it because they've been doing so much stuff wrong, I get that feeling.
I really do wish that the Trump administration would focus less on settling scores with perceived potential enemies and focus their attention more on things that really matter. Focus their attention things on like fixing the economy that is in free fall.
What she did was right. She was defending the rights of immigrants in her courtroom and thus the rights of all of us in the courtroom. And now we are here to stand with her.
There were two protests that were held here outside the federal courthouse today, and another one is already set for tomorrow afternoon. That will take place outside the FBI headquarters in St. Francis.
Okay. Now, I don't think this lady would go to jail, right? I don't think Hannah Dugan's going to go to jail, but I do think she's going to get punished. Do I think she should be punished? I don't know. Not really. But it's the Trump administration. She will be punished. If it was a different administration or if we were at the end of the Trump administration, because this is going to go on for a while. So if we were at the time where like maybe this all goes down, there's a new administration in, that's different feeling about these things, or has a different feeling about Trump was doing it, and we're looking at this in a different context, maybe she would get no punishment. But that's not the case. And we're at the first 100 days of Trump, and she did this very early. So there will be punishment. They will make an example out of her. I do not think it will be jail, and I don't think it should be jail. Because there is a context into what she's doing could be seen as like this isn't jail worthy. Now you tell me in the comments, what do you think? Is this a judge protecting the rights of just a human being and protecting due process? And protecting people from a dangerous and unlawful administration? Or is this a judge overstepping her boundaries and her power? And do you think she should go to jail? Or is this a part of what the Trump administration is saying when they fight against the judiciary system? I am more on I'm more over a judge trying to do the right thing in the wrong way. But she shouldn't go to jail. That's how I am. Kind of more left leaning towards it, but I get why Republicans are going to dunk on this, and I'm not going to argue with them for doing it because she did make a stupid mistake. All right. that was a long episode. It had to be, though, because this was interesting. I'll continue to cover this, but that is a wrap. Thank you for watching Guaranteed News, especially if you watched this whole thing. Have a great rest of your day. Peace. That is it.